I am pleased to be joined by the head coach at George Washington University, Caroline McCombs. Caroline, it has been a while since I've seen you, but I'm so glad that you had time to visit with us today. Thank you.
Thanks, Debbie. It's great to see you too, and I'm looking forward to talking with you.
I know. So tell me, how is it going? I mean, GW, living a good life. You won 2 in a row. You're right in the middle of standings in the A10. It's got to be fun.
It is definitely love living in DC, having the opportunity to lead this program. We have tremendous young women here, and I'm just excited to keep growing with them. It's been a lot of fun. We're doing a lot of things differently this year, especially on the offensive side of the ball. So just really excited about the growth of this team and our program.
Okay, so you're leading me exactly where I want to go, which is to talk about offense. So tell me, what are some of the things that you're doing that's different, that is having success with these players?
Yeah, well, last year we really struggled to put the ball in the basket. So we focused on, that development, that skill in the offseason. Then obviously it's recruiting, right? Recruiting players that can put the ball in the basket. That's something that's really important. So we're trying to create a lot of space for our team offensively to score, to drive the ball, to get inside out threes. We wanted to create higher percentage 3-point baskets as well. And, we're doing that. We spent a lot of time in the gym. It's hard to spend all that time when you're playing games all the time sometimes, but, really just as we're going to be able to press pause here after this next game that we have and try to work on that skill development still.
That's the balance, right? Coaches talk about this time of year about practice, prep, and games, and you don't have a whole lot of time to do the first, which is practice. But isn't that what the summer is for? Putting all the concepts in that certain teams are going to play a certain style, and you sort of built that in early.
Definitely. I mean, this is exciting for me because this is my first time running this system offensively. And so I'm learning every game how each coach is trying to defend our actions. And so that's been really exciting for me. It's challenged me to be a better coach, to be a better leader, for our team. We're learning as we go here, as it's the first time through in conference season as well. But yeah, we put a lot of time in, and that's what's really fun. We'll show clips. We showed clips this morning before practice of like really good offensive possessions, and they're really good when I don't have to call out everything that's going on, and they're learning to play with one another. I think that's the most rewarding part, is just seeing that progress that they're making, watching them make those reads. I think it makes playing together and on our team so much more fun because of that growth that we're having.
So I say under, overhead, strap, ice jam, switch. There's several different ways you can guard a ball screen and or some variation of such. All right. So you say you're learning how teams are starting to guard your personnel and your actions. What are some of the things that you can cross off the list, or can you cross any of those off?
Yeah, I mean, not really. We like our guards to post up. So some teams double team us, in the post, and some don't, right? We try to draw two. If we draw two, our players have to make that read of finding, their teammate. If not, like, we're looking to get the basket or create maybe another opportunity on the other side. We've just recently started adding in a little bit more ball screen coverage right at halftime. I said yesterday, I think they're going to come out and, hard hedge or trap the ball screen, because we were really getting good looks on the pick and roll. And so I think that, just our players are learning what all of those things look like. And it's just exciting.
I think that's the exciting part about the game, because you said something that's really important as a concept, and that is bringing two to the ball. That's part of the reason why we run ball screen offense in the first place, is so that you can make a play out of that. And it's really hard to learn to read that second level. How do you teach your players? And it's not just about point guards anymore. It's everyone learning how to read the second level and how to read the third level.
Yeah, I think the breakdown drills for us, are so important. So it's not just, 5-on-5 all the time, but just like the 3-on-3, the 2-on-2, some of those things that we're doing. And so, it's finding the time to be able to do that, fitting in short pockets of time in our practices where they're getting opportunities. I think then you put the full package together, and it looks so much better when we do that.
On paper, the next couple of games you have coming up are teams that are below you in the standings right now. So when you start putting plans together. I mean, it's easy for me to say, right? Oh, I mean, you're right in the middle of things. You're going to play some teams that are below in the standings. You're thinking you should win those games. How do you feel about the direction that your team is heading right now, going into the next couple of weeks?
Yeah, so we've had two stretches. We played 4 games in 9 days and then 3 games in 6 days. So, the rest has been like the most beneficial thing for us between those games, not a ton of practice prep time, because the rest has been something that I thought would be more beneficial. And so I'm looking forward to, actually breaking things down more, having more intense type practices in preparing for those games. I think we'll be at home a little bit more too. We've been on the road. So, it's all, we talked about handling success today too, coming back from a win. What does that look like? How can we stay focused? We're not on the court very long, but, learning in the film, learning from the win, but just still keeping our focus the same, staying humble, staying hungry for, who's coming in here next. So just like learning what that looks like, I think is really important for us too. I know when you lose, you come in the locker room and they're somber and nobody's talking, and after you win, a lot of times it's a whole different, environment. So just understanding like how we handle success, right? We still have to, look at the things that we didn't do so well, that we know we can improve on, not just for the next time we play that team, but for our next opponent.
So you and I go way back, right? I mean, I've known you for a while, and I remember when you first got in the business. And I hate to say I've been around that long, but I actually have been around that long. And when I listen to you talk about success and how to handle success and winning, I know this is not your first go around as a head coach. So you've had lots of influences in your career. What would you point to, or who would you point to as somebody that maybe had a direct influence on the way you see the game or how you think about handling success?
It's hard to pinpoint just one person, Debbie, because I have had an awesome experience throughout my college basketball career. So from Keith Freeman when I was at Valparaiso, to Agnes Baronato at Pittsburgh, to Joe McEwen at Northwestern, to Terry Williams, at Auburn, like all 4 really different personalities, but I just loved working for each person because they were so different and challenged me in different ways. Some were more introverted, some were extroverted, but all really good basketball minds. But I think the most important thing was the kind of people that who they are and how we ran our programs. It was always about the people and the players, and everything was run so first class. And so like for me, when I took the Stony Brook job, it was like me figuring out myself, right? And like running that team and running that program and building that program to where we got to be successful. And that was like where we were in that program, was like teaching them how to, when you win a game, how to respond, from that and handle, how do you still get motivated, do the pre-practice workouts, when things are going your way. And so, I go back to Agnes, right? She was such a big personality, and I definitely don't have her personality, but just like I learned so much from her because I am introverted, right? And so how to come out of my shell and, have a big voice and be passionate about, everything that I'm doing, but like getting your team to kind of just like follow in your footsteps. Like she was somebody that just had such a big personality that was really huge in my growth. That was like my 7th year of college basketball when I got to work under her. And like, we were so different in that way. But she just really challenged me to do things and get out of my comfort zone just as a leader.
Anyone who has been around Agnes knows what a huge personality she has. So Caroline, one of the things you said, you were an introvert. So one of the things that we try to do with our podcast is, I know how hard you work, and I know you eat up film. I mean, I know you're a student study, you're going to figure out stuff. You're that kind of how and why kind of coach, but also it's personality and it's humanized versus strategized. So from the humanized side of it, like what are some of the things that you're doing when you're not working with on your team? Or I see that you take field trips sometimes when you go on the road. DC is kind of a field trip in itself. When people come to your town, I know they're busy doing other things. What are some things that you're doing that are not basketball related, if you have time for it?
Yeah, I mean, I love yoga, that meditation, that just like time, on your own to like just decompress and, just get in your own mind and your thoughts and like leave them there. I think for COVID, when that happened, that was like a huge transformation for me, just getting back into that personal routine and space. I feel like that's a challenge for me every day, to find that time, but I know I'm better able and equipped to serve and to lead when I do those things for myself. I know that my words and my wisdom, I'm a little bit stronger when I'm able to do those things, for our team. So as I get challenged, especially in the season, to do that, I know that I'm able to operate at my best for everybody when I'm in that space.
Well, I know you're a great servant to the game, and I'm so grateful that you took the time to be on the podcast with us. Thank you for joining us with for Nothing But Net. Caroline McCombs, a head coach at GW. Thank you, Caroline.
Thanks, Debbie.